Welcome back to the Mad Spider-Verse. I'm Mad Spidey. Once again, thank you very much for tuning into my channel. Today is going to be another one of my statue collection. Now, should I say a finalistly nominated, if that's even a word? I've been nominated for a Comic Book Community Awards, and I am one of the 5 finalists. So, once again, it is the David versus Goliath show. It is me versus all these big channels. I think I'm the only one that's under 1,000, or I'd say under 500, but obviously, luckily now I'm actually at 500 subs. Hopefully it'll stay there. But yeah, I'm up against the big boys. You know, like there's some that are 5,000 subs, some that are 100,000 subs, you know. Just like last year, I probably have no chance of winning, but I do appreciate each and every one of you that has voted. I've watched quite a few of the live nominations. Obviously, a lot of them I've had to do on the replay because you're doing it while I'm at work. But yeah, I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you who have actually voted for me and, you know, pushed my channel and things like that to try and win this award. But anyway, let's get on to the actual episode itself. I didn't even check. I've forgotten what number this is. It's somewhere in the 30s or 40s or something. I'll put it in the description anyway once I get to the, you know, putting together the video part. I don't like to say editing because I don't really edit. I just, you know, drag stuff down into a line and put it all together. So, but anyway, so now, last episode I did of this, I actually sort of did a bit of a cut down version of my usual sort of spiel when I'm talking about the statues. Obviously, I asked the question, do I do the full spiel again? Do I keep doing that, or do I cut it down? And like a few people, like my boy Mark from Legion of Comics says, you know, this video could be the first video that somebody is watching, so maybe you should just keep doing it. And kind of a general consensus. I trying to cut down the videos a little bit so they're not, you know, ridiculously long, because I do tend to waffle, that everybody knows. But in saying that, you know, I've decided to go back to the big, you know, to the normal spiel again, just to sort of, yeah, keep it consistent and things like that. And yeah, so let's get started. So yeah, my statue collection is basically, it is based on Bowen Designs statues. Bowen Designs was the company back in the day, from about the mid to late 90s to the early 2000s. They were only the one, like obviously there were other statue companies, not many, but there were, but Bowen was the prevalent, like, you know, it was the bee's knees, I suppose you could say. At the time, they were the main ones to have the Marvel license. I went absolutely nuts, tried to get as many as I could, literally tried to become a completist, but obviously a lot of money in the statues and the shipping and things like that, and there was a lot of them. I did my best, got quite a lot, thus this, you know, video series that I'm going through. So, you know, even though I might only be up to mid-30s, mid-40s episode, I probably got a good another couple of hundred videos out of this series at least, so that's really good. But basically, yeah, Bowen Designs, as I said, prevalent in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, had the Marvel license, even though they had done some like DC and independent stuff beforehand. But they basically did 3 ranges, so they did like a mini bust, a mini statue, and a full-size statue. The mini statue and the full-size statue, in 99% of the cases out of 100, were exactly the same, just on 2 different scales. I tried to collect all 3 sets, and then I was just like, I don't really need the mini statues if I'm getting the full-size statues. And obviously they didn't do as many mini statues as they did full-size statues. So I pretty much stuck to the mini busts and the full-size statues. Now, in saying that, you do find there's a lot more diversity in the mini busts. Obviously, being smaller units, they can generally, you know, sort of dive deeper down and produce a lot more. Now, the one that I'm actually going to be doing today is another mini bust, and it is actually Major Victory. So this is like when talking about diving into a little bit more of the, you know, the back catalogue of characters, not your mainstream stuff. Because generally every single phase they did, Bowen Designs I think did 5 phases over the years, where you know, obviously they eventually phased out the mini statues later on in the phases, but the minibus through the phases started fairly basic. Like you always got your Spider-Man and your Hulks and your Iron Mans and your Captain Americas and stuff like that. Pretty much every phase, just different costumes, different poses and things like that. But with, yeah, as I said, with the minibus, they tend to dive deeper down into, you know, characters you may never heard of or may only pop up every now and again, and not necessarily your mainstay characters. Now, obviously, the main thing is with the Bowen Designs boxes, whether it be one of the 3, doesn't matter whether it's a minibus, mini statue, full size, they always have this distinguishable grey box. It's pretty much just a compilation of pages and Marvel comic characters and names and things like that of characters. With the minibus though, a little bit more sort of, I suppose, detail on the boxes as such. Same as the full size, they would have on one side character name. If there was multiple versions, they'd quite often have multiple photos, but they give you like sculpt details of physical size and you know, who actually sculpted the prototype and things like that. But unlike the full-size statues and the mini statues, the minibus actually have a blurb on the actual character or synopsis on the actual character themselves. They will generally have 2 comic covers on the side as well. Generally one will be, you know, like a first appearance or a book close to a first appearance, and something a bit more recent to the day of release or the month of release of this particular one. But in saying that, like, a lot of people are going, well, some people might be saying, who's Major Victory? Obviously, before the MCU Guardians of the Galaxy, there was the original lineup of Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, you had Vance Astro, which is actually this gentleman here. Vance Astro, Martin X, Yondu was part of the original lineup, Starhawk, Charlie 27. I'm probably forgetting somebody. But yeah, originally he was known as Vance Astro and then became Major Victory. Obviously you can see a Captain America shield there too. I can't quite remember the full story behind the Captain America shield. But yeah, he is part of the original lineup of Guardians of the Galaxy. So the other thing, getting back to the statue side of things, is they will generally have an edition number, which is a worldwide edition number. Now, most minibus would be anywhere between usually 2,000 to 3,000, right up to 5,000 to 10,000 worldwide. This particular one was only 200, so very, very small run indeed. And as you can see, this one is number 99. So yeah, very, very small runs. I was very lucky to get my hands on this. So in saying that, I have now almost gone for 9 minutes and I haven't even shown you what it looks like. The other thing to notice is generally, in most cases, full size minibus doesn't really matter. When you pull out the foam, it will usually either have the Bowen Designs or up on it, so you actually know which way to open up the foam. And this one's just a all-in-one sculpt, so nice and easy to pull out, no extra bits and pieces to connect. And there is Vance Astro, or Major Victory, the man himself. So later on, and I've mentioned this before, generally the early phases, a lot of the minibus, like, they didn't have any arms, the bases were fairly basic and things like that, so it was truly a bust as such. But obviously as they went on in the phases, they started to get a little bit more detailed. So you can sort of see the base got a little bit of an intricate sort of look to it. Yeah, quite, even though he's got a fairly basic sort of costume, the muscle grouping and things like that in the actual statue, It's actually quite detailed. Obviously you can see it's just cut off at the base there, but you're not really going to sort of see that too much anyway, because you're not going to be displaying it from the back. But yeah, very, very cool and very limited, as I said, very limited bust indeed. So that was a very, very cool addition to the collection indeed. The other thing to note is obviously once you pull the bust or the statue out, that you'll get the same sort of details. So generally your character name and then the edition number, and then obviously your general trademark stuff and things like that as well. So obviously making sure that says 99 out of 200, so matching that up as well to the box, because occasionally that can happen, that, you know, something get mixed. You might, you know, there might be 98 statue but a 99 box. It does happen, but very rarely. But that is it. So yeah, that went way too long. But yeah, please, if you haven't voted in the Comic Book Community Awards, obviously I'm up for the best statue review up against the big boys. So once again, David versus Goliath. So if you could, you know, vote, I'll leave the link to the CBCA website to where to vote if you haven't already. I've still got to do mine. I'm most likely going to be doing it live at some point. Just got to find time. But yeah, I'll be doing that fairly shortly, hopefully. But thank you to everybody who has nominated me and got me into the 5 finalists. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. It does mean a lot. Even though this is supposed to be for fun, it's still great to get recognition for, you know, for doing this, you know, because I'm not doing this for money, because I'm not monetized. I don't think I'll ever get monetized. And I'm fine with that. I'm just doing this to make friends, to network, have fun, and yeah, just to, you know, share with the world what I love. So yeah, anyway, apart from all that, let's end this video. Done, dusted. Please do all the usual YouTube stuff. Leave a comment if you want to. Thumbs up on your way out. Most of all, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. So, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Spidey out.